With all eyes on Las Vegas, efforts are underway to keep people safe online. For more insight on cybersecurity threats, we're joined by CEO of Rebrand Cities, Haj Flemings. Good to see you again, Haj.
It's great to be here.
Now, we just said that 500,000 people are going to be in Las Vegas this weekend for the Super Bowl. That's a lot of data roaming around everyone's phones and smart devices and whatnot. What are some of the challenges for cybersecurity when it comes to that?
So you have to protect people from themselves, right? And so even something as small as getting on Wi-Fi, you're on public Wi-Fi, your information is wide open, right? So you have to think about those things. You have to think about things in terms of just handing your phone to somebody and having somebody take a picture of you, right? We've all done it. And people are transferring information, they're going into Cash Apps, they're doing a variety of different things. And so I think we have to really think about all the things that kind of go into this. So there are things in terms of if you're buying a ticket, making sure that it's from a verified source, right? If you're buying parking passes or things like that, all of those things are important, and it allows, and you have to make sure they have 72 hours to keep everybody safe in that city, right? So whether it's a celebrity, whether it's people who are driving the economy, if it's our Main Street customers, we want to make sure that they're safe and sound for those 72 hours.
Okay, so you mentioned Cash Apps, and I've got to ask about this. So, you know, lots of folks use Apple Pay, and then obviously the other Cash Apps as well. When you're talking about going to a game such as this, right, and you've got your phone, I mean, what's safe to use, and what would you say to maybe steer clear from?
So one thing I would say is that I would not use debit cards, right? So even if you're putting it in Apple Pay, because there's no recourse like for a debit card, right? And so I think even something as small as making sure that you have credit cards in there is critically important.
Okay.
And so I think those are some of the things. They're going to go after the betting apps, or try to get into the banking apps or things like that. And so I just think just some basic safety things, not providing your information to people who don't need the information, and being very, very careful like from that particular standpoint.
If we can take it a step deeper, what kind of strategies do experts put in place to avoid data theft, even big companies perhaps?
So yes, let's just provide some context like for this event. So you have 200 million people who are watching this game. It is from 190 different countries, right? People from all over the world, and it's not just a game that's on the field, but just also, let's just look at it from the perspective of the cyber criminal, right? This is a compelling opportunity because if they're able to really make some headway and to be able to disrupt the game, this is like the Olympics. It's like winning the gold medal of the underworld of cybercrime, right?
Good way to put it.
And so you have all those things that are at play. So from a cybersecurity standpoint, you have 24/7 monitoring. You really have a holistic presence where they're like watching all these sea of transactions that are taking place like around us, and making sure that all of those things do not disrupt the on-field game, but also making sure that customers have a great experience. And so all those things are important. Technology is best when you don't feel it and you don't feel the heavy hand. And so that's what's taking place. All the agencies, the league, the city, because there's 500,000 people who are now visiting the city for these 3 days and trying to make sure that all of that feels like it's in a safe environment.
And you mentioned just the sheer number, just the magnitude here has to present some challenges of its own. So what would you say is the biggest challenge right now for cybersecurity experts as it relates to the Super Bowl?
I just think that now people are going there to have an experience, and what they're focused on is just being able to take in the moment, right? And so people are sharing their location online, right? So what I'm saying, so people know where they are. There's information that's embedded inside of these photos and things like that. And so people are not really aware of what's happening around them. And so really trying to keep them safe and trying to make sure that things don't happen that that would cause them to put themselves in harm's way.
And let their guard down.
Yes, yes. I mean, because again, people are there to have a good time. Like, they're not thinking about, okay, I have to worry about like if I'm gonna get robbed or something's gonna happen or if I'm gonna lose my information.
Well, I'm never giving my phone to anyone else to take a picture from here on out, Haj. Thanks for that tip. All right, thanks for coming in this morning. Really appreciate that.